This is the latest BMW M3.
And this is the oldest BMW M3.
And this is every BMW M3 in between. We're gonna drive them all and decide which one is the best. Oh yeah, the noise. First up, we have the legendary E30 M3. This car is amazing. Now, the E30 M3s were introduced in the mid-1980s. They came with a 2.3 liter four-cylinder engine. This car, unfortunately, does not have the S14. This car has an S50. But I will say, this car is not just about horsepower. So we're gonna pretend this car has an S14 for the time being. Just know there's a little bit more power under the hood. So we're not gonna talk as much about the drivetrain, but we're gonna talk about everything else. This car is really special. It is a part of my personal collection. It is one of my favorite cars. What do you think, Quinn?
Honestly, it drives a hard bargain for being my favorite M3. It is
Ooh, it started off with the bang.
So the thing is this is the M3, right? This started the M3 badge. This was the only M3 that's an actual homologation car. So the reason that this car was built and put into production was because BMW wanted to race it, and the class they were running in, you have to have a street legal version. So this is a proper homologation car, and look at it, dude. The box flared arches look so good. This is one of the best looking cars I think BMW's made forever.
There is a reason why this is also known as the Holy Grail, is because they are very hard to find. And what Quinn just told me off camera is originally in the 80s, these actually sold terribly.
There are a lot of cars that are iconic now today that didn't sell well because back in the day, really nobody wanted them. And there's a few that are kind of unfortunate, like the Mark IV Super was another one. Nobody bought them because they just weren't that great compared to other cars that were on the market. And the same is true for the E30 M3. The cars like these are rare, and the same is true for the E30 M3. The cars like these are rare because they just didn't make a lot and they didn't sell a lot, but it is still a fantastic car.
All right, so I'm gonna bring you onto the inside of the M3. We have a few tasteful modifications. We've got a new set of Sparco seats. They have been retrimmed in kind of that traditional, I think it's M-Rain or M-Tech fabric. Renowned steering wheel. This car also has a half cage in the back with a rear seat delete. And if you can see back there, we actually have a fire suppression system. So this car is really set up for the track. On the inside, it's bare bones. We don't even have a radio in here. We have a lap timer. We've got, of course, a 5-speed manual, and that's pretty much it.
So one of the most iconic parts of the E30 M3 is the back, kind of the rear C-pillar, the trunk, and the deck lid as well. And this is actually a response to Mercedes because their racing car for that year had a lower drag coefficient than the E30. So they did this to make the E30 more streamlined. And some of the parts that they actually used were still factory E30 parts, like the rear deck lid. Of course, this has a more slanted rear window. The side profile of it looks super 80s, and I absolutely love the look of the back end of these cars.
And I think this is one thing that I don't think you can get a replica of, or maybe you can, but I have never seen it. So if you're looking to differentiate between a regular E30 coupe and an E30 M3, look for this really unique trunk line and also the box flare wide body kit. I think we should fire it up. Let's see how she sounds.
Yeah.
We are ready.
do
we
it.
are in an E30 M3. Here we go.
It's kind of fitting that this is the homologation car. It's like the most race car out of all of the M3s we have here today.
Yeah, this one, it's got some good mods on it.
Fixed back seats, the 6-point harnesses, the cage,
we got a full fire suppression system. Hopefully we don't have to use it, but let's go out for a little drive.
So right off the bat, small, light chassis. I'm sitting, like we're almost touching.
We are literally touching elbows.
So
it is very small. This car has no radio. This one does not have any air conditioning. One thing I do like about the E30s is everything is so analog. So there's just, there's no distractions in here.
Even the buttons look unbelievably analog.
And everything is satisfying. Yeah. Everything is a knob, everything is a button. So coming from a modern car, it's just refreshing.
There's no display.
There's nothing.
Everything, yeah.
This is an 88.
So it still feels really tight. Yeah. Oh yeah. But you do have vibrations. You do have, you feel the chassis.
You feel the road too.
Yeah, the car feels alive.
It feels alive. And and it makes you feel alive, and it sounds, you know, as I mentioned earlier, this car does not have the S14, so we apologize that it doesn't, but at the same time, this is a great motor in here. You feel everything, and I think that's what makes it so special.
When you're sitting, dude, the visibility in the E30 is insane.
It's awesome.
It's so good.
Yeah,
it is everything.
It is really great, and it makes you, you know, when you drive this car, you feel like a race car driver.
Yeah, you see all the old Group A and the ones on track, the DTM, the 80s footage, like it's exactly how it feels.
Oh, all right, Fiat. All right.
Yeah. This thing is like almost 40 years old.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, you're calling me old, brother.
I'm just saying, it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it.
One interesting point throughout this whole episode today, as we drive each generation of M3, is to see how the chassis and how the cars are different with each generation, but also how they all stay true to the M3 lineage, and if there's some similarities between this and the next generation and the next and the next and the next.
Very true. Next up, we have the second generation BMW M3, which is the E36. Now, the E36 brought along some changes to the M3 line. First of all, this is the first M3 to have 4 doors. The E36 M3 also came in a coupe, a sedan, and a convertible for the very first time. A big step up from the E30, and this car actually sold well. And originally, we weren't even supposed to get the M3 here in the United States, but a lot of BMW enthusiasts at the time fought for it, and we got one stateside. E36 M3 was also the first M3 to feature an inline 6. The E30 M3 had a 4-cylinder, and this car was kind of the M3 that set the performance benchmark of every other car being compared to a BMW M3, because these things were really fast for their day.
Let's take you guys on the inside, because I think there's a huge upgrade from the E30 to the E36. So this car has black leather. Let me pop in here. This car is a 5-speed manual. They did come in an automatic as well. They did come in an
automatic. This was actually an automatic car when I bought it originally.
So this car has been converted.
Yep.
You've got an aftermarket steering wheel, but in here, it's just way more luxury feeling than the E30.
More, yeah, so this has heated seats, factory heated seats. This had AC, heater, it had all the amenities with it.
It seems like BMW in the mid-90s, they were trying to appeal to maybe a little bit wider of an audience. These cars were pretty expensive when brand new. I remember being a kid and getting a ride in one of my friend's dad's M3s, and that's actually kind of what kicked off this whole obsession for me. But I remember being in that car, and it was a manual as well, and just falling in love with everything when it comes to M3. So super comfortable. Nowadays, there's a lot of common E36 problems. One being the E36 glove box sag, which yours is, it's not bad. It's not too bad. Sometimes you see these and the glove box sags like a full inch or so.
I put 270,000 miles on this car.
So when people say that BMWs or M3s are not reliable, I think that they're just not maintained by most people. And with an E36 M3, there is a handful of problems that they all have at one point or another, and if you fix those issues, they are very reliable. Clearly, this car has 270,000 miles. That is a lot of miles.
When you get a good one and you get it running well, they're phenomenal cars. They just last. Like, I don't know how else to say it. This thing, I haven't even pulled the valve cover off this thing in the last 100,000 miles.
You got the Quinn Spec mobile in here? This thing's sick.
I love it. Let's look at the outside, because I love how this car looks.
One thing that we always tease Quinn about is his rear fitment. Not really tease, but we always comment about it. We always say when the rear is tucking more than the front is, that's Quinn Spec right there. That's
I want you to put a side-by-side comparison of my car to the Finna Winkahawk DTM car, and you will see exactly where my stance came from. This is a period correct 1993 DTM stance for the car, and I love how this thing looks.
And I will say, because I've been in this car a couple times, it doesn't rub. So you drive this all the time. There's been many times there's multiple people in the back seat. The car's on BC coilovers. Even though it is incredibly low, it doesn't rub, which is amazing.
So under the hood of the E36, we have the S52 B32. Of course, this being a USDM car, it is the S52. The European got the S50 B30 for the OBD1 cars, which had 281 horsepower, and the S50 B32 came in the 96 up Euro spec cars. They had 321. We in the United States got about 240 horsepower and about the same in torque, and they are phenomenal engines. So there's a huge debate over Euro versus the USDM cars. My take on it is that these are way easier to maintain, way easier to find parts for, and they accept modifications a lot better. So if you want to do racing stuff and boost, these are way better engines to work with. This engine was also the introduction of Vanos, which is BMW's cam timing system, which is really cool. overall a very neat, very reliable engine. So really the only big faults with these engines is just lack of maintenance. People not changing the water pumps, people not changing the thermostats. They don't have bearing issues. They don't have really anything like that. I've even seen timing guides break on these and it's not a catastrophic failure on this engine. So as far as reliability goes, I honestly think this is one of the most reliable BMW engines in an M3 to this date. They're not super finicky and they just work really well, but people don't maintain them and then they overheat and then they have head gasket problems. So this one has 270,000 miles on it and I've never pulled the valve cover off even once yet. Let's take this M3 out for a drive.
Ready, E36 M3, one of my favorite cars of all time.
So I'm noticing immediately a lot of similarities, but kind of like small updates compared to the E30. Like the window switches are, like the printing is the same, the styling is the same, it's just one uniform button now.
That's a funny thing actually, because, and we'll get to this later, but a lot of BMWs have the window switches in the center, which trips out a lot of people because everyone expects them to be on the door card. So the other funny thing I think on E36 M3 is this little climate control vent. There is a blue on one side and a red on the other, and it is a knob that goes left to right. So you also have on the climate control, the digital screen, temperature gauge. So it's kind of like counterproductive. You can have one hot and you can have the temperature set to all cold, and it's very odd that there's two different ways to control the heat or AC in these cars. Oh, but she still gets it. 2 seconds. These motors are so strong. Love it. Now this car, does this have an exhaust or not really? Or
I have a Borla catback on it.
Okay, so not
about it.
Straight pipe, nothing crazy.
Nothing crazy.
It sounds good. You definitely can hear it. It's not overly loud, like especially on the freeway, there's no drone at all.
Put some crazy exhaust on these, they get so raspy. It's the wrong kind of raspy in my opinion. So like the Borla, the Super Sprints, like those MagnaFlow bolt-ons, like those exhausts that you can hear the engine and it opens it up and it doesn't make it crazy loud or raspy are my favorite.
You know, overall, it's just a nice place to be, and it's hard to believe that these cars are 30 years old.
I know, yeah, it's crazy.
It really, and I don't know, maybe it's because we both own these cars for a long time. I bought mine in 2016.
Yeah.
So it's been 8 years. You've been driving this for 10 years, you said?
Yeah, almost 10 years. Yeah. Shifting feels great. The pedal spacing is spot on. Like the car behaves, these at the limit is so nice because it behaves exactly how you want it to. They're super predictable, super direct.
And you drift one of your E36s, I know. And I think that the E36 right now, specifically the M3 if you can get into it, is a great first car for someone who's really trying to get into the hobby or into the space of building or modifying a car. Everything is readily available online. You can get the parts pretty much anywhere. And all of the common issues are very fleshed out at this point.
Yeah.
People have write-ups or videos. You have a ton on your personal YouTube channel, how to do things and fix E36s the right way. So if you're looking for a car, you're looking for a first car for your kid or whatever, consider an E36.
Now we should go up into the E46.
I am excited. Let's check it out. Next up, we have this beautiful E46 M3. Now this is not just a regular stock E46 M3, this belongs to my friend Mike, who's the founder of Status Group as well as Inductive, and he lent us this car and he said, here are the keys, drive it hard and enjoy it. And this car is really, really special. So those with a keen eye may or may not see that this car, it is actually an M3, but Mike went ahead and he did a lot of custom modifications to this car that make it truly one of a kind. For example, Mike got rid of the front fender vents that are very iconic for an E46 M3.
You notice the front bumper has also been filled in right here too.
So this has got a CSL style front bumper that's also custom because there's no vent on one side. So if you are a keen BMW enthusiast, you may notice a couple of unique things about this car. Another key thing is this right here. So in the States, we never got E46 M3s that had carbon fiber roofs.
In Europe, they got it. It was known as the CSL. It was like E36 LTW was kind of the E46, but the CSL was. It was a lightened version, got a bunch of special features, and one of them was a carbon roof.
So Mike must have gone ahead and done this aftermarket. Yep. The other thing Mike added, we've got a CSL style trunk. So this is actually from his brand Status Group. And he's got a single exit exhaust, which is very uncommon to see on an E46 M3. But stepping inside Mike's E46 M3, we have a ton of carbon fiber, a ton of really cool parts, and an IRP short shifter, which is the same short shifter I have in my E36 M3, and I absolutely love it.
There are a lot of similarities here. Kind of the layout's almost the same as the E36. So we have the window switches, the center console looks very similar. It's all updated. It's a much nicer finish, I would say. And then the design is updated. So it's less of a cockpit oriented car and more of like a normal traditional style dashboard.
It feels nice. It feels more refined. It feels like everything is put together a little bit better. There's a lot of buttons here. We have now the addition of a sport mode in addition to DSC. We have heated seats, power windows. It's a little bit busy. So the interior on the E46 M3 definitely feels a step above. It also feels bigger.
It does, yeah.
It feels a little bit bigger, a little bit more spacious. So compared to the E30, now that Quinn's in here, we were, no joke, bumping elbows.
Elbow to elbow.
Yeah, so we have a foot, basically.
About the whole center console is comfortably between us, which is nice. So the design language is also changing, I'm noticing. So E46 is a little bit more flowy inside the interior and the outside of the car. It's a little less boxy, which is nice. So
I know Mike has done a bunch of tasteful upgrades to kind of modernize the interior. We have a wireless cell phone charger by Inductive. I think he's got Bluetooth. So there's a lot of aftermarket support with the E46 M3s that allow you to kind of modernize it. So this does not feel like a 20-plus-year-old car. I'm excited to drive this car.
The E46 M3 has the legendary BMW S54, which is a 3.2-liter inline twin-cam straight six, naturally aspirated. This thing makes about 330 horsepower. Now, compared to the E36, this is a big upgrade. It's got higher compression, it's got bigger cams, it's got individual throttle bodies, and a higher red line, leading to much more power. So this is a very refined engine, very smooth. It does have some quirks. The S54 tends to have rod bearing issues. Not as bad as some of the other M3s, but it does have them. In addition to that, the subframes on the E46 M3 start to crack at the mounting points in the back, which is also not good. So overall, it is a little bit better, and it's pretty much improved in every single aspect.
But Quinn, there's one thing that we're missing, which is the cool aero mirrors that we saw in the E36. They went away for the E46 M3, which is a huge disappointment in my opinion. I always love that about the E36 M3. But what we did get is a much wider wheel arch. So comparing an E46 non-M to an E46 M3, you need a way wider wheel on an E46 M3. You got this bulbous rear fender, and I think this was kind of the start that carried through everything. So I guess you could say the E30 had it, the E36 did not. The E46 has it, and then everything after that has that widened rear fender so that we can run more aggressive wheels and tires.
The E46 is also the part where we start to see some styling changes that carry through the rest of the lineage. You'll notice the hood bulge on the E46. We have a hood bulge, it's there. It's very small, it's very not super pronounced, but it is there. We also have the fender vents, which this car has been deleted, but we'll see that on future generations. So let's take this thing for a drive.
We are live in an E46 M3. I have owned two E46 M3s in my lifetime. I had a supercharged one, and then I had an NA one that was basically 100% stock. This is somewhere in between.
Yeah, I like these seats. These are not factory,
nice,
but these are nice.
These are nice seats. I love this shifter. This is kind of like a hybrid between a race car and a street car. Suspension, I know, is pretty dialed in on this thing, but let's see how she does. You can definitely feel a notable size increase, but broken loose. Yeah. Traction control a little bit here. Yeah. Oh yeah. Man.
Man, the red line just goes.
It goes. So it goes and it goes and it goes. And we got sport mode on. You got the addition of a shift light. car sounds amazing.
Sounds
oh man, this thing is so good.
so good.
Wow, I will say out of either of my E46 M3s, this is better. This is really nice.
Good,
it is set up really nice and properly. Suspension feels really planted on this car. I love the shifter. I love almost everything about this. The other thing,
I love it. It's just like it's like a grown-up E36.
Yes,
everything's
it feels
nicer.
a lot like an
Interior's
E36.
a lot better. I mean, it's based off the same chassis. It's an updated chassis, so I'm not surprised that it feels very similar. But like, it just feels grown up.
The purpose of this video is not to be like an in-depth car review. If you are looking for specific stats on everything, there's plenty of videos for that. I want to convey to you guys how they make us feel and how they drive, and could you drive them every day? There's a lot of car reviews that are about top performance and going to the track and all that. And the truth of the matter is that most of our time spent in a car that you own is on the street.
Yep.
So how do these cars behave as normal cars that you could own or we could own? And this is a great one.
I would drive this every day. This feels very E36-y. So let's see how they've improved with the E92.
I'm excited for that. Up next, we have the E92 M3. This car is a really nice example of an M3 competition. We've got the extremely aggressive hood. We'll talk about the engine in just a second. Let's talk about the aesthetics, Quinn.
The E92 is a little bit more subtle in some ways and a little bit more exaggerated in other ways in terms of styling compared to the E46 M3. We have a huge hood bulge, much bigger than the E46 was. We have the return of the winged M3 mirrors, but the wide body is not as near noticeable, I think, as it is on the E46 M3. So I love the styling of these. This is definitely a much bigger car than the E46 is. And it's a lot more luxurious too as well.
Let me take you guys for the interior, because I think that's where a very substantial change is between the E46 and the E90 series M3. So what's cool about this one is a 6-speed manual, but I just think overall the interiors are way just more comfortable, luxurious, nicer in the E9X chassis than the E46. You do have the start of the iDrive system and the whole navigation system in the center. A lot of enthusiasts now are after what they call a single hump, so it doesn't have the navigation. Some people would argue that those navigation systems have aged, but there is some upgrades you can do to actually get Apple CarPlay, which is something I did in my personal E90 M3, which totally revamped the interior. Now, stepping inside, you have the beautiful M3 gauge cluster. This is actually the first M3 where the gauge cluster is not amber. In the E92 M3s, the gauge cluster is actually white, which is kind of a special, weird little touch. And on the E92 M3s, we also have the introduction of a little arm that helps bring your seatbelt to you. Now, some people say that that is really annoying. I think it's kind of fun and funny, but they do break sometimes, so you gotta be careful.
I love it. It's a good looking interior. It's definitely way more modern, I would say. The fit and finish is much better than it was on the E46. You have a lot more modern touches. You have integrated cup holders.
Do they work?
They do. This one works. Is that one going?
That is one of the most common issues with E90, E92 in general, not just M3s, is the cup holders don't work. So Quinn was just saying that the interior color is very special. I think this color is called bamboo, if I'm not mistaken, but it is very unique. I've actually never seen one. It's kind of like this dark tan look. So I like it a lot more than a regular tan interior that you see. And I love the brush trim. That's one of my favorites.
Really nice.
Let's see what's under the hood.
Under the hood, we have the legendary BMW S65. This is the only BMW M3 to have a V8, and this V8 is absolutely no slouch. It still has all of the good stuff you want out of an M3. High revving, this thing revs to 8,400 RPM. It has ITBs, individual throttle bodies, and it's got loads of torque and loads of power. This thing makes 414 horsepower, so quite a jump over the E46. It's about, 80 horsepower or so more, and it is an absolute blast to drive, and it sounds amazing.
So there's a common misconception about the S65, and that is a concern over reliability. I will say, because I've personally owned one of these, as long as you do the rod bearings and do the throttle actuators, they've been very, very reliable for me, and I highly recommend anyone who's on the fence about getting into an M car for the first time, this is a really good chassis and a really good power plant to get into. They sound great, they're amazing, I cannot wait to go for a ride. I think it's interesting interesting to drive all these cars back to back.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
the clutches are all different.
I think this might be the first E92 M3 that I've driven that was a manual. I think all the rest of them
Okay.
have the DCT. The DCT is phenomenal.
It's great.
It is.
That's what my personal E90 M3 was as a daily, is the DCT. Now, this being a 6-speed manual, I've driven a couple, but it's been a long time. So I would like to know, how does this compare to an E46 M3 manual?
Yeah.
So this car belongs to our friend Brandon. Actually belongs to his dad. And you see the flag right here? We got a Puerto Rican flag. Let's
baby.
go.
Boricua, let's go.
Yes. I think that's like a rite of passage.
Yeah.
If you're a Puerto Rican who's into modifying cars, you put the Puerto Rican flag right by the rearview mirror, which is awesome. We did the same thing on our F8.
Got it. Have to. I love it. He's got it on the front plate too.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah. The seats are great. The steering wheel. Oh yeah, the noise is great. Wow. Oh, this is making me miss my car. This is making me miss my car.
It's so good. You stay in the gears longer than you want to, but the engine just keeps
sounds
going.
amazing.
It is so
I
good.
wish people would swap this engine into other things.
Yeah.
You really don't hear a lot about it. So. Sounds so awesome, and it's so smooth too.
Yeah.
You know, there's no turbochargers, there's no funny business. It's there.
The torque is there immediately.
Yes. What a great car. Let's go try the F80 now. Moving on to the 5th generation of the M3, the F80 M3. We no longer have E-Series, we are now on to the F-Series, and we're moving on from that legendary S65 V8 to a twin-turbo inline-6, which is called the S55. What do you think, Quinn?
Phenomenal engine. I love this car. This is one of the best looking M3s I think to date.
You mean this one, Quinn? The one that we happen to be giving away right now, and right now is your last chance to get entered to win this car and a check for $20,000. This is our 24th sweepstakes, believe it or not. We've given away over $1 million in cars and prizes, and this exact car could be yours, but let us tell you a little bit more about the F80 M3. So to continue on with the exterior styling, we have a slightly smaller power bump in the middle, more aggressive, larger side fender vents. We also have the amazing wing mirrors that have continued now from the E36, not the E46, then the E92, now on the F80 series. In addition, we have a carbon fiber roof. So the F80 M3s came with 2 different options, a carbon fiber roof with no sunroof, or a sunroof car that does not have the carbon fiber roof. This one has that carbon fiber and it looks amazing. This particular M3 has an S-Tech Miami blue PPF on the entire car. Underneath is a nice gloss black, but we felt like we wanted to make this thing pop, and this color absolutely does the F80 M3 justice and really accentuates how wide this car really is.
So hopping into the interior of the F80 M3, check this out. This interior is a big upgrade from the E90 for sure. We have a much better iDrive system. It's a little bit smaller. We don't have the double hump anymore.
Yeah.
That's gone.
We've got carbon fiber everywhere. What's this, Quinn?
This is a 7-speed dual clutch transmission, and this is our shifter for it. So a couple of changes with the F80 M3 came electric power steering. So this is the first M car to have that. And we have adjustable sport settings for that here on the center console. So we have the steering, we have the suspension, and then we have the sport transmission, all that mode.
The other cool thing about this particular car is we're running the KW height adjustable springs. We do retain all of the factory suspension adjustments that come with the F80 M3. So we didn't get rid of those. We can still use those with the KW system, which is pretty nice. Let's pop the hood.
So under the hood of the F80 M3, we have the BMW S55. So this is a 3-liter dual overhead cam inline 6. That is twin turbo. So they moved away from the V8. So this engine from the factory made 425 horsepower and it made a heap more torque than the S65 V8 did. And this thing drives incredible.
We replaced the badges with gloss black badges. We've got a Keys Motorsports carbon fiber rear lip and rear diffuser, and we have an AWE catback exhaust system. This exhaust system made a world of a difference. I cannot wait for you guys to hear it. Let's fire it up and take it for a drive. in the F80 M3. I'm just gonna say this. This is a way nicer car than the E92. It's big. Look at our shoulders here.
Yeah. The E30 was tiny. The E40, the E36, E46 were bigger for sure. The E92 was bigger. This is like actually.
We're getting further and further apart.
We are. Yeah.
The camera, I have to actually lean in because we're actually quite a bit wider. So this car is the first car that we've driven so far that has a DCT. So I'm gonna put it. We also have the addition of M modes. So we have M1 and M2, which are programmable. We have M1 set up how we like it here. So we are in, call it manual mode. So I'm gonna be using the paddle shifters. I'm noticing like it's pretty insulated in the cabin, even more so than the E92.
Yeah. E92 was very comfortable as well.
Yes.
So this is about on par, if not a little bit more.
It's got coilovers, it's got kind of the works. But it's not too crazy, right? This is like a normal dailyable car. It is, the brakes are freaking awesome.
Yeah.
But right off the rip, the transmission shifts way faster than any human could.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I remember the first time I drove a DCT and I was like, wow. I usually shy away from automatics, but in these cars, it's really good. And there is a lot of power.
A lot
more.
It feels really good. It's like with the transmission, it doesn't really. Yeah. It doesn't matter what gear you're in because it's just so smooth and so linear.
The transmission is so good, and I really enjoy the way this car sounds. It's maybe a combination of the exhaust, but I really like the S55.
Yeah.
It's very tunable, a lot of potential.
It's just so fast and just so on it.
This to me feels like pretty much a brand new BMW.
Yeah.
And we'll get into the G80 and I want you to drive it. I almost think that every generation as you go, you lose a little bit of the analog, but you do gain performance.
100%, yeah.
And you do get creature comforts.
Yes.
That's kind of the trade-off that I've gathered so far today. I just had to test my brakes out here. All right, overall, F80 M3, awesome car.
I love it.
This is gonna be one that's gonna be really hard to say goodbye to because I've really been enjoying this car. Makes me wish that I had one. I would absolutely drive this on a daily basis.
I think this is one of the greats of the M line. I think it's one of the top.
And I think it is a great value for the money right now as well. Let's go grab the G80 and check it out and take it for a drive. And moving on to the 6th generation, the G80 M3. My car that I just got, I am so excited. This is my new baby. It's Alpine white, we've got a black interior. Let's talk about what makes this different than the F80 M3.
It's a big girl.
This is a much bigger car. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, the grills. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Is it growing on you? Let us know in the comment section down below. For me, I never disliked them. I know a lot of people didn't care for them. There's a lot of aftermarket options to update or change the front end that I am considering, but I do want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What do you think, Quinn?
My take is when I saw the renderings initially of the M3, I wasn't one way or the other. And then the non-Ms hit the street with this style front end, and it was horrible.
Yes.
And I hated it. And then we went to Daytona with Motul to go check out the GT cars, and I love it now. The front end, it looks so sharp.
I think that it is very different. It's a little bit polarizing, but I think it fits the car. This car does have the laser LED headlights, which are super awesome. They look great, but here's one thing that is different. They got rid of the hood bulge.
Power bulge is gone.
The power bulge is gone, and we have 2 recesses in the front. Very subtle.
It is a recess, but it also kind of comes down from the bumps. You have like these 2 raised sections here, which are kind of interesting.
It's very interesting design language. Let's move on. We've got the M wing mirrors, reminiscent of the E36 M3.
This is not a vent anymore.
We've got fender badges now. Kind of looks like a vent. It is not a vent. It's just a piece of plastic. Kind of interesting, kind of weird, kind of cool, I think. Moving along to the back.
We got the wide over fenders.
We've got...
It's not as noticeable now.
the trains today. Really making this awesome for us.
We have the widened front and rear fenders, but it's not as noticeable as it is on
It's not bulbous. It's not like the E46 M3. It's a little bit subdued. All right, moving on to the rear, we have LED taillights. We've got an aftermarket carbon fiber wing, quad exhaust. You can see it from here how big and wide and muscular the car is. From the factory, we have a 285 tire out back, which is the widest tire that's ever come on the rear of an M3. This car does not have a sunroof. It has the carbon fiber roof, which is awesome.
What's interesting to me is it's, aside from the front bumper, it's very reserved in styling. You notice that?
Let's take you to my favorite part of my G80 M3, which is the interior. I decided to go with a car that had the factory carbon fiber buckets. If you have not seen these on the new M3s, these are one of my favorite things and they're super comfortable. The car is also a 6-speed manual, and it's got the updated dash because this is a 2023. So we have not 2 screens, we have 1 continuous screen from left to right. We've got a big steering wheel. M1 and M2 are now on the steering wheel, on the top of the steering wheel, I should say. And then everything else is pretty simple. This one does not have the carbon fiber trim. It has kind of this checkerboard trim, but everything else is very familiar. With the exception, we are continuing the window switches now on the door panel. Everything is now touch screen. In here, heated seats, air conditioning, etc., etc.
I do love that they have a analog volume knob.
Yeah, there's
That
a
is
couple
really nice.
buttons. That's it. There's only 5 buttons. Everything else is in here. So check this out. This is a little bit overwhelming.
Yeah, it is.
Look at how many apps or whatever you want to call it are in here.
Under the hood of the G80 M3, we have the S58. So like the S55, this is a 3-liter twin turbo straight 6, but that's pretty much where the similarities end. This thing is an absolute freaking powerhouse. This thing makes 480. In competition sport, it makes about 510, and these are phenomenally good engines, and they're still being learned about. People are still learning to tune with them, and I've heard there are people making 1,000 horsepower on these things on stock turbos, which is freaking insane. I don't know that much about these, honestly. They're still so new.
So this car is a manual, so it's not a competition. So they didn't make the new M3 competitions, which is the highest spec. They didn't make those in a manual. They only made them in an 8-speed viscous automatic, basically, the ZF transmission, which is great. And I've driven both the cars and I almost got one, and then I realized, you know what? I want something that's fun. I don't really care about peak performance. You can also tune these engines, but the manuals actually came with the lowest amount of horsepower, but as you'll see, it's enough and it's great. And I'm excited, and let's fire this thing up and let's take it for a drive. So we're also about to put you in, hold up real quick. We're about to...
This is a lot, dude. This is crazy.
Ready for this? So we'll put you in M1.
Sick. Okay.
You're in M1. That's what I like to drive on.
Yeah, I didn't think that until right now, that this is the first one that doesn't have an analog cluster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
The F80
right.
is all, you know, the gauges don't do that, which is all shift and crazy. So I've gone to 2 dealerships trying to test drive one of these, and nobody will even let you sit
No?
in the car. When they first came out, like, we have one. I was like, can I drive it? They're like, nope, you can't even sit in it. It's like, oh man. So
I did not buy this from the dealership, actually. I bought it from a private party. It's only got a few thousand miles, just still getting used to everything. It's got a couple mods on it. It's got auto
rev matching.
Auto rev matching.
I heard that when I rolled back into first.
It's kind of trippy.
Yeah. Well, it does it when you just pop it into the gear.
Yeah.
I like the pops. The pops are nice.
Yeah. So it has like a resonator delete, so it's not a real true catback. It is something I'm looking at upgrading. Feel how insulated it is in here?
Very,
like, I know you can hear the exhaust,
yeah.
but you don't hear anything else.
It's very muffled.
You don't hear any road noise.
I'm noticing, just like the E92, was that the clutches got really light.
It is.
E92 has a very light clutch. This has a very light clutch. I'm sure the F chassis, the F80 with a 6-speed, I'm sure it has an equally light clutch. Like the E36 was heavy, the E30 was heavy, the E46 was heavy. I kind of miss that.
Compare this to the E30. What a totally different
like rubbing
experience.
elbows the whole time.
Seriously.
Yeah.
But from a gear shift perspective, it's very familiar. I got in this car. If you've driven BMWs for a while, you get in this and you instantly drive it smooth.
The response is ridiculous on the throttle. Yeah, it feels very familiar, very at home.
Yeah.
Alright, so we're gonna roll onto it in second gear. I think this first gear might not be the best idea. Wow, this thing feels great,
fast,
dude.
isn't it?
Wow.
And it's very linear too.
Yeah.
It almost doesn't feel turbocharged.
No, it doesn't at all.
And I think it sounds awesome too.
The torque is great, dude.
It's a really good
3,000 RPM, you roll onto it and it just shoves you from the back.
Yeah.
That is phenomenal. And this is a 6-speed too.
Yeah. Yeah, just 6-speed.
It's good. It feels like a big car though.
It is big.
It
for
feels like
sure.
a big car.
It feels like a very grown-up M3.
It feels very similar to the F80 in a lot of ways.
In a lot of
ways.
ways.
It feels really good.
You know, the controls are similar, steering wheel's similar, the shifter is similar to the E92. It's got a lot of good elements, and
even though like the steering is changed and it's electric, it still feels like the E36. I can still feel the car in this. E46 kind of the same thing. The way the car presents itself, it's it's the balance of everything. And the shifter feels the same.
It's great. I know it feels the same.
It's
it's almost trippy. And going in one day from the E30 to the E36 to the E46 to the E92 to the F80 and now to the G80. It's crazy how different they are, but also how similar they are in a lot of ways as well.
It does.
I think, to be honest, Quinn, like in entirety from what I learned today, if you are looking for something that is analog, you need to get into an E30, E36, something like that. The E46 is kind of in between in the E92.
I would put the E92 in that category
as well. Kind of in the in-between.
Nice,
and then this and the F80 are, I would say, more similar to each other, where it's definitely more luxury. They're definitely bigger cars.
You can tell that this is an updated, like how you can tell an E46 is an updated E36, I can tell that this is an updated F80.
I think that's a great way to put this car.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's phenomenal. It's really nice.
And it's fast.
It's fast.
It's got a lot of power. You know, there's something to be said about technology, but you miss some things like sound. You miss that analog feel. And you know what? It's all dependent on what you're looking for.
I think if you're looking to buy a BMW M3, you cannot go wrong with any of them.
I agree with you there. That's going to do it for today's YouTube video, guys. If you guys like this style of video, please be vocal in the comment section. We read every single comment. Maybe we choose another car. What car would you guys like us to review every generation of? Maybe a WRX. There's a million generations.
Evos
Skylines,
would be fun.
Evos
Skylines would be good. There's a Corvettes we could do.
There's a ton.
Mustangs.
You guys let us know in the comment section down below. If you like this video, leave us a big thumbs up. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.